5 words that changed 3 lives forever. Can I share this table? The corner bean was packed that Saturday morning in late March. Portland's first real sunshine after months of gray winter had drawn everyone out. Couples on dates leaned close over lattes, students hunched over laptops with headphones blocking the world. Families with strollers negotiated the narrow aisles between mismatched furniture. Every table was full, every seat taken. Marcus Bennett glanced up from his black coffee and caught sight of her through the crowd. A young woman on crutches navigating the maze of chairs and backpacks, blonde hair pulled into a loose ponytail, brown eyes scanning desperately for an empty seat. She moved with practiced efficiency despite the crutches, but what struck him most was the expression on her face. Determination mixed with something that looked like barely contained desperation. Her left pant leg hung differently below the knee, and he understood immediately without staring. And then John's hamster escaped during show and tell and ran under Mrs. Palmer's desk, and she screamed so loud the principal came running. 6-year-old Lily was in the middle of an animated story, her small hands gesturing wildly, nearly knocking over the hot chocolate topped with what the barista had called an irresponsible amount of whipped cream. Marcus smiled at his daughter but kept watching the woman. She approached a table near the door where a couple sat close together, clearly in the early stages of romance, that oblivious to the world phase. He saw her speak to them, saw the woman shake her head firmly without even looking up. The young woman on crutches nodded, apologized, moved to another table where a man sat alone with papers and laptops spread across every available inch. Again, she was refused. Marcus watched her shoulders slump, watched the way she bit her lip as if fighting back tears. Her knuckles were white where they gripped the crutches. "Daddy, are you even listening?" Lily's voice pulled him back. The hamster story had apparently advanced to a new crisis point involving the janitor and a mop bucket. "Of course, sweetie, the hamster escaped. That was like 5 minutes ago. Now I'm telling you about how Marcus found him behind the reading corner bookshelf, and Mrs. Palmer gave Marcus extra recess time as a reward." Marcus's attention had drifted again. The woman on crutches was standing in the middle of the cafe now, looking around with an expression that broke his heart. Lost. Alone. Like she was about to give up on something important. Something that had taken courage to attempt. For a brief moment, their gazes met across the crowded space. He saw vulnerability there, hope, and a deep sadness that seemed to radiate from her very core. She took a breath, adjusted her crutches, and started walking toward them. "Excuse me." Her voice was soft when she reached their corner table by the window. Steady, but with emotion trembling underneath, like a fault line ready to shift. "I'm so sorry to bother you. I know this is probably strange, but would you mind if I shared this table with you?" She paused, and her eyes glistened with unshed tears that caught the spring light. "The cafe is completely full, and Her voice caught. "I really need to be here today. It's very important to me." Marcus stood immediately, pulling out the empty chair across from them. "Of course, please sit. I'm Marcus, and this is my daughter, Lily." Relief washed over the young woman's face like sunrise breaking through storm clouds, transforming her features from desperation to something approaching peace. She carefully settled into the chair, propped her crutches against the wall beside her with the ease of long practice. The prosthetic was visible now, modern and mechanical below her left knee. Thank you so much." "I'm Elena." She looked at them both, and Marcus saw her eyes were wet with tears that hadn't quite fallen, balanced on the edge. "I asked those other tables first, but they said they needed privacy. I was starting to think I'd have to leave, and Her voice caught again in her throat. "I really couldn't bear to leave without being here for a while. We're happy to share our table." Marcus kept his voice warm, casual, as if strangers asked to join them every week. "This place gets crazy when the weather's nice. First decent Saturday after winter, everyone remembers the sun exists." Lily, never one to be shy, leaned forward with bright curiosity that knew nothing of adult complications or unspoken grief. "We come here every single Saturday. It's our special tradition. I always get hot chocolate with extra whipped cream, and Daddy gets boring black coffee." She wrinkled her nose at Marcus's mug with theatrical disgust. "Do you like hot chocolate?" Elena smiled, and despite the sadness that clung to her like a second skin, the smile reached her eyes. "I love hot chocolate. That sounds perfect for today. A server appeared and Elena ordered coffee and a croissant. As the server left, Lily launched into conversation with the enthusiasm only a 6-year-old could muster, picking up her hamster story exactly where Marcus's attention had wandered. I'm in first grade and my teacher is Mrs. Palmer, and she has a hamster in our classroom named Cheeto because he's orange and fluffy. Do you have any pets? I don't right now. Elena's fingers wrapped around the water glass the server had brought, like she was trying to absorb its solidity. But I used to have a cat named Luna. She was gray with white paws, like she'd walk through fresh snow. That's such a pretty name. Luna means moon in Spanish. My friend Maya taught me that. Her family speaks Spanish and sometimes she teaches me words. Elena's smile widened, became more genuine. It does. That's exactly why I named her that. My mother spoke Spanish too. She used to sing me lullabies with Luna in them. Marcus found himself relaxing as they talked. There was something about Elena, despite the sadness she carried, or maybe because of it. She listened to Lily with genuine interest, not the polite but vacant expression adults often wore around children's rambling stories. She asked follow-up questions about school, about Cheeto the hamster, about Lily's best friend Maya when she mentioned her. She laughed at the funny parts, gasped at the dramatic moments. She was present in a way that felt rare. They'd been sitting together for about 15 minutes when Elena carefully set down her coffee cup. The ceramic made a soft click against the wooden table. She looked at both of them with an expression Marcus couldn't quite decipher. Gratitude mixed with something deeper, more painful. Like she was about to reveal something that cost her. I want to tell you both something. The reason I needed to be here today specifically. Her voice had changed, become more deliberate. It's because today is my birthday. I'm 27 today. Lily's eyes went wide with pure delight, the kind of unfiltered joy that children possess before life teaches them to temper their reactions. It's your birthday. And without a moment's hesitation, without asking permission or feeling any self-consciousness, Lily burst into song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elena. Happy birthday to you. Marcus immediately joined in, his deeper voice blending with his daughter's enthusiastic, slightly off-key soprano. Several nearby patrons glanced over. A woman at the next table smiled and joined in for the final line. An older couple across the cafe added their voices too, drawn into the spontaneous celebration. When the song ended, Elena had tears streaming down her face, but she was smiling through them. Marcus saw something shift in her expression, a crack in whatever armor she'd been wearing, something vulnerable and raw and real breaking through. She wiped at her eyes with trembling fingers. That was the most beautiful thing anyone's done for me in a very long time. Thank you, both of you. Everyone needs birthday songs. Lily declared this with absolute conviction, as if it were a fundamental law of the universe. Then her face lit up with another idea, the kind of idea that 6-year-olds have that seem obvious once spoken. Daddy, we need to get her a birthday cake. You can't have a birthday without cake. That's like having Christmas without presents. Oh no, please. Elena started to protest, shaking her head. You've both been so incredibly kind already. I don't want to be any trouble. You barely know me. Marcus glanced toward the display case near the counter where the cafe kept their fresh pastries and small cakes, the kind that served 2 or 3 people. He'd brought Lily here enough times to know they made everything fresh daily. They actually make really good cakes here. Would that be okay? It's your birthday. You should definitely have cake. You've both been so incredibly kind already. Elena's voice was thick with emotion, each word careful. I don't want to be any trouble. You're not trouble at all. Marcus said this gently but firmly, making it clear he meant it. Really, please let us celebrate with you. Despite Elena's continued protests, Marcus excused himself and went to the counter. He returned a few minutes later carrying a small chocolate cake with vanilla buttercream frosting and a single candle stuck in the center. When he lit the candle with a match the barista had provided, several people at nearby tables noticed. The older couple who joined the singing earlier caught on immediately. Someone started singing again, and soon their entire corner of the cafe had joined in, a spontaneous choir of strangers united in celebration. Elena closed her eyes, and Marcus saw her lips move silently, making a wish. She blew out the candle in one breath. A small ripple of applause spread through the space, warm and genuine. Okay, birthday girl gets the first piece and the biggest piece. Lily announced this while taking charge of the cake distribution with serious authority, as if she'd been appointed official cake manager. That's the rule. Daddy taught me that. As they shared the cake, something shifted in the atmosphere at their small table. The sweetness of the moment, the unexpected kindness from strangers, seemed to crack open something in Elena that had been locked tight. She ate slowly, savoring each bite, and Marcus noticed tears still sliding down her cheeks, though she was smiling. This cafe, Elena began, her voice barely above a whisper, staring down at her plate. This was my family's place. Our Saturday morning tradition, exactly like yours. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He glanced at Lily, whose intuitive child sense was picking up on the weight of what was coming. She set down her fork and went very still. Elena looked up, meeting Marcus's eyes directly. Me, my little sister Kennedy, and our parents. We lived just a few blocks from here in a small apartment above a bookstore on Hawthorne. My dad was a firefighter at Station 14, and my mom was a pediatric nurse at Dornbecker Children's Hospital. She paused, and Marcus saw her hands begin to tremble around her fork. We never had much money. My mom worked night shifts, my dad had unpredictable schedules. But Saturday mornings here at the Corner Bean, these were the happiest times of my entire life. Her voice was gaining strength now, as if speaking it aloud was the only way to keep it real. Kennedy would always order strawberry waffles with extra syrup and then get it all over her face. My dad made these terrible jokes that made my mom groan but made us laugh so hard we couldn't breathe. My mom would steal bites of everyone's food, just little tastes, and we'd pretend to be outraged. We'd sit at a table just like this one, and for those few hours, nothing else mattered. Not bills or homework or my dad's dangerous job or my mom's exhaustion. Just us. Marcus reached across the table instinctively, placing his hand gently over hers. What happened, Elena? She closed her eyes. A single tear slipped down her cheek, then another. 2 years ago, there was a gas leak in our apartment building. The landlord had been warned multiple times about the old corroded pipes. People had complained about the smell. He always said he'd get to it next month. Next month, her voice broke, fracturing into pieces. We were all asleep when it happened. The explosion. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later with no memory of anything after going to bed that night. They told me the entire building had collapsed. 4 stories of old brick and wood construction, just gone. I was trapped under concrete and steel beams for almost 6 hours before the rescue team could reach me. Lily's eyes were wide, shimmering with tears she didn't understand but felt deeply. Marcus tightened his grip on Elena's hand. My left leg was completely crushed below the knee. Shattered bones, severed arteries, too much tissue damage. The doctor said there was no way to save it. They had to amputate. She took a shuddering breath. My parents and Kennedy. Elena's voice shattered completely. They didn't make it out. They died in the collapse. Kennedy was only 14 years old. She wanted to be a veterinarian because she loved every single animal she ever met. She used to bring home stray cats, nurse injured birds back to health, cry over roadkill on the highway. She had the biggest heart. The tears were streaming down Elena's face now, unchecked. Marcus felt his own eyes burning. And my parents, they spent their entire adult lives saving other people. My dad ran into burning buildings. My mom fought to save sick children every day. But they couldn't save themselves. They couldn't save Kennedy. Her voice dropped to a broken whisper. They couldn't save me. Before Marcus could respond, before he could find any words adequate to this moment, Lily slipped silently out of her chair and walked around the table. Without saying a word, she wrapped her small arms around Elena and hugged her tightly. The gesture was pure, uncomplicated by adult understanding of trauma or grief. I'm so sorry your family died. Lily's voice was soft but clear, carrying that pure, unfiltered empathy that only children seem capable of. That's the saddest thing I ever heard. But you're not alone right now. We're here with you. Elena pulled Lily closer and sobbed into her hair, her whole body shaking with the force of grief released. Marcus came around too, placing a comforting hand on Elena's shoulder and his other hand on Lily's back. They stayed like that for what felt like a long time but was probably only minutes. Three people who'd been strangers less than an hour ago, now connected by unexpected kindness and shared understanding of loss. When Elena finally composed herself, pulling back and wiping her face with napkins Marcus handed her, she looked at them both with red-rimmed eyes. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fall apart like that. You don't need to hear about my problems. You don't need to apologize. Not for grief. Not ever." Marcus said this firmly, meeting her gaze. Elena wiped her face again, taking a shaky breath that seemed to come from deep in her chest. "I live with my aunt now, up in Vancouver, Washington, about 30 minutes from here. She took me in after I got out of rehab for my leg. Physical therapy, learning to use the prosthetic, all of it. But it doesn't feel like home. Nothing feels like home anymore. Nothing feels right." She looked around the cafe, her gaze landing on different tables, different corners, as if seeing ghosts. "Today is my birthday, and all I wanted was to come back here, to this cafe, to feel close to them again. This was where we were happiest. I thought if I could just sit here at one of these tables, maybe I could feel like they weren't completely gone. Like I could have one more Saturday morning with them, even if it was just in my heart." She looked at Marcus, and fresh tears welled in her eyes. "But when I got here and saw how crowded it was, I almost left. I almost got back on the bus and went home. And then you said yes. You let me sit here. You sang to me. You got me cake. You made me feel like I mattered on a day when I felt completely alone in the world. You do matter." Lily said this with absolute certainty, still standing beside Elena's chair. "And you're not alone. You have us now." Marcus smiled at his daughter's pure heart, at her inability to see the world as anything but simple. If someone needed help, you helped. If someone was alone, you invited them in. It was that straightforward. "She's right." Marcus kept his voice gentle. "You don't have to be alone today. We were planning to go to Laurelhurst Park this afternoon. Nothing fancy, just our usual Saturday routine. Lily will play on the swings. I'll read the newspaper and pretend I'm not checking my phone for work emails. You're welcome to join us if you'd like." Elena looked surprised, hope flickering across her face, followed immediately by uncertainty. "Are you sure? I don't want to intrude on your time together. You barely know me, and you've already been so kind." "You're not intruding." Marcus meant this completely. "We'd like you to come. Really. Besides, Lily would probably talk about you all day anyway, wondering if you're okay. Might as well save me from the interrogation. Please come." Lily added her voice to the invitation. "I want to show you the ducks at the pond, and there's a really good climbing tree, but Daddy won't let me go on the high branches because he says I'm too little. But maybe you could tell him I'm big enough." Elena laughed through her tears, a sound that seemed to surprise her. "Okay. Yes, I would really love that. Thank you." They spent the rest of that afternoon at Laurelhurst Park. Spring was asserting itself despite March's lingering chill. Early blooming trees showed off pink and white blossoms. The grass was that brilliant green that only came after months of Pacific Northwest rain. Families were everywhere, taking advantage of the sunshine. Lily played on the swings while Marcus and Elena sat on a bench in that easy silence that sometimes exists between people who've shared something significant. Marcus watched his daughter pump her legs, going higher, her delighted shrieks cutting through the ambient noise of the park. "How long have you been doing the Saturday morning tradition?" Elena asked, watching Lily with a soft expression. 3 years now." Marcus felt the familiar tightness in his chest that came with this particular explanation. "Since my divorce was finalized. Lily was 3 when her mom and I split up." "I'm sorry," Elena said this softly without pity. "That must have been hard." Marcus nodded, surprised at how easy it felt to talk to her. It was, but it was also necessary. "Lumen and I, that's Lily's mom, we married young, 22, right out of college. We thought we wanted the same things, but we didn't." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "She's an artist, a free spirit. She wanted spontaneity, adventure, last-minute road trips to the coast, dropping everything to see a band play in Seattle. I'm more of a homebody. I like routines, quiet mornings, knowing what's happening next week. Stability." He watched Lily jump off the swing and run toward the monkey bars. "When Lily was born, we both tried so hard to make it work. But trying to be someone you're not, it's exhausting. It drains you. We weren't angry at each other, which somehow made it worse. We just fell out of love gradually, like colors fading in the sun. That sounds harder than anger. Elena observed this quietly. It was, Marcus admitted, because there was no one to blame, no betrayal, no dramatic fight, no affair, just the sad realization that loving someone isn't always enough if you want fundamentally different lives. Elena was quiet for a moment, processing. Where is she now, Lily's mom? Seattle. She's a curator at a gallery up there. She visits twice a month, calls Lily regularly. The divorce was amicable. We did mediation instead of lawyers, worked it out ourselves. I got primary custody because my teaching job is more stable, and Lily needed that consistency. Lumen understands that. She loves Lily fiercely, just from a distance. You're a teacher? Marcus smiled. Middle school art, 7th and 8th grade. It's chaos and creativity and hormones all mixed together, but I love it. Teaching kids to see the world differently, to express what they can't say in words. Art teacher. Lena said this with something lighting up in her eyes. That's perfect. You have that energy. Patient, observant, creative. And what about you? Marcus asked, genuinely curious. You mentioned graphic design. Elena nodded. Freelance. I work from home, which has been good since the amputation. More than good, actually. Essential. I had to completely relearn my workflow. I used to pace around my apartment while brainstorming, sketch standing up at an easel. Movement helped me think. She gestured to her prosthetic. Now I do most of my work sitting, using a tablet. It took months to adapt, to find new ways of working. But I got there. Had to. I wasn't going to let this take my career too. That's incredibly resilient. Marcus meant this. I didn't have much choice, Elena said quietly. It was adapt or give up, and I had already lost everything else. I wasn't going to lose my career too. It's the one thing that's still mine, that still makes sense. They discovered more as the afternoon wore on, drawn out in the easy way of people who sense an unexpected connection. They both loved hiking, though Elena hadn't been on a trail since the accident, didn't know if she could manage the terrain with the prosthetic. They both preferred indie films to blockbusters, the kind of small character studies that major studios wouldn't touch. They both thought the smell of Portland after rain was the best smell in the world. That particular combination of wet earth and evergreen and coffee from the roasteries. They both loved bookstores with creaky floors and coffee shops with mismatched furniture, places with history. Lily eventually ran back to them, breathless and flushed. Miss Elena, can you push me on the swings? Daddy pushes too high and it makes my tummy funny. Of course. Elena stood and Marcus noticed her wince slightly as she adjusted to the prosthetic. She didn't mention it, and he didn't either, just stood and walked with them to the swing set. As evening came and long shadows stretched across the park, they made their way to the parking lot. Marcus walked them to Elena's car, an older Honda with Vancouver plates. Thank you for today. Elena's eyes were still a bit puffy, but genuinely happy for the first time since they'd met. You and Lily turned what I thought would be the loneliest, most painful birthday of my life into something beautiful. I'll never forget this. Same place next Saturday? Marcus surprised himself with how much he hoped she'd say yes, with how much the thought of not seeing her again felt wrong. Elena's face lit up. I would absolutely love that. They exchanged phone numbers, thumbs fumbling with the phones in the fading light. Lily hugged Elena goodbye, her small arms fierce around Elena's waist. That night, after Lily was asleep, Marcus found himself staring at his phone. He typed out a message before he could overthink it. Thank you again for today. I can't stop thinking about how brave you were to come to the cafe alone, to ask her what you needed. Elena's response came quickly. You're not a stranger anymore. You're my friend, and friends don't thank friends for birthday cake. It's in the friendship handbook. Page 47. Marcus smiled in the dark of his living room. I'll have to read that handbook more carefully. Sounds like a thrilling read, right up there with assembly, instructions, and tax forms. The following Saturday, Elena showed up at the corner bean wearing a nervous smile and a dress instead of jeans, like she'd put effort into the morning. But the moment Lily saw her, she squealed with delight and ran over for a hug that nearly knocked Elena off balance. Marcus caught her arm, steadied her, and just like that, it felt like Elena had always been part of their Saturday tradition. The weeks turned into a rhythm, Elena joining them for other things too, expanding beyond just Saturday mornings. They went to Powell's City of Books one Wednesday afternoon, got lost in different sections, texted each other photos of ridiculous book titles they found. Elena found herself in the travel section, looking at books about places her parents had dreamed of visiting. She didn't cry, but Marcus saw the grief pass across her face and gave her space. Movie nights at Marcus's apartment after Lily went to bed became a regular thing. They'd argue good-naturedly about plot holes and character motivations, throw popcorn at each other when discussions got heated. Elena would curl up in the corner of his old couch, and sometimes she'd take off the prosthetic when it had been a long day. Marcus treated it matter-of-factly, never staring or asking intrusive questions, and Elena appreciated that more than he could know. Lily's school art show in late April brought Elena out like a proud aunt, standing next to Marcus and taking photos of Lily's paintings. Mrs. Palmer, Lily's teacher, assumed Elena was Marcus's girlfriend, and they both awkwardly clarified they were just friends. The walk to the car afterward was unusually quiet. Elena taught Lily how to draw cartoon characters at Marcus's kitchen table with colored pencils spread everywhere. She'd explain technique and proportion while Marcus graded papers at the other end of the table. He'd look up sometimes and see them, heads bent together over paper, and feel something warm expand in his chest. Late-night texts became a thing. Funny memes at first, then random observations about their days, then deeper conversations about grief and hope and rebuilding. One night in early May, Elena texted at 2 a.m, "Do you think we ever fully heal, or just get better at carrying the weight?" Marcus was awake, couldn't sleep, staring at lesson plans that weren't coming together. Maybe healing isn't about the weight disappearing. It's about getting stronger while carrying it, about learning to walk steady even with the load. That's beautiful. Thank you. In their 7th week of friendship, everything shifted. It was a rainy Saturday, unusual because they still met at the cafe despite the weather. Elena was teaching Lily more advanced shading techniques, their usual table by the window covered in colored pencils and half-finished drawings. Marcus watched them and felt his heart do something unfamiliar. A week later, Elena had an episode. They were at the cafe when a news report on someone's phone got too loud, something about a building collapse in Seattle. Elena's face went pale. Her breathing became rapid and shallow. Her hands started shaking. She was there but not there, eyes distant. Marcus recognized the signs immediately from a training he'd taken at school about student trauma responses. He stood, guided her outside into the fresh air, away from the stimulus. 5 things you can see, Elena. Tell me 5 things. His voice was calm, steady. An anchor. Trees. The coffee shop sign. A red car. Someone's dopo. A bench. 4 things you can touch. The bench. My jeans. The metal armrest. Your hand. She grabbed his hand without seeming to realize it. 3 things you can hear. Her breathing was slowing. Rain, cars, a bird. 2 things you can smell. Coffee from the shop. Wet pavement. 1 thing you can taste. The croissant from earlier. She came back to herself gradually, awareness returning to her eyes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what. Never apologize for surviving trauma. Marcus said this firmly, his hand still in hers. Never. That was the moment Marcus fully understood he was falling for her, watching her piece herself back together in the spring rain, realizing he'd do anything to help carry her weight. May arrived with longer days and the kind of warmth that made Portland forget it had ever been cold. Marcus was grading watercolor assignments at his dining table when his phone lit up with Elena's name. Not a text this time, but a call, which was unusual for late evening. "Can I call you? I need to talk through something big." He'd already answered, heard the mixture of excitement and nerves in her voice. "I'm moving to Portland." His heart did something complicated, a flip and a squeeze at the same time. He kept his voice carefully neutral. "Really? That's a big decision," Elena explained in a rush. Her Aunt Rosa was supportive, understood that Elena needed to rebuild her life in the place that held her family's memory. Living 30 minutes away in Vancouver felt like exile. She'd found a studio apartment 3 blocks from the corner bean, affordable, with natural light for her design work. Ground floor, which mattered for days when the prosthetic was too painful. "That's amazing. I can help you move." The words came automatically. "You don't have to. You've already done so much." I want to. After the call ended, Marcus sat in the darkness of his living room. The only light came from the street lamp outside, casting shadows across the worn furniture. She was moving here. She'd be close, truly part of their daily orbit instead of a visitor from across the river. He tested the feeling, probing at it like a sore tooth. The warmth spreading through his chest told him everything he'd been trying not to acknowledge. He was falling in love with her. But immediately the doubts rushed in like water through a cracked dam. She was 27, 5 years younger, still building her career. He was 32 with a daughter and a mortgage on a modest salary. Elena was healing from trauma that had shattered her entire world. She needed stability and friendship, not complicated romantic feelings that might explode everything they'd built. What if he was wrong about the moments that felt charged between them? What if he ruined the best friendship he'd had in years? He decided to keep quiet, to treasure what they had and not risk destroying it by wanting more. 2 weeks later, moving day dawned bright and hot. Marcus recruited fellow teachers, James and Katie, both of whom had heard enough about Elena to be curious. They arrived at Elena's Vancouver apartment to find boxes stacked and labeled in neat handwriting. Elena moved between rooms with efficiency, directing traffic, her prosthetic making its distinctive sound against the hardwood. The new apartment listing had been wrong. Not ground floor, but third floor. No elevator. Elena's face fell when they realized. It's fine, we'll manage. I'll figure it out. But Marcus saw the defeat in her shoulders, the way this felt like one more thing taken from her burn. James, a 40-year-old science teacher with the build of someone who'd played college football, took charge. They created a system, heavy furniture during multiple trips, careful navigation of narrow stairs. Elena struggled with the steps, had to rest twice, embarrassment coloring her cheeks. Marcus stayed close without hovering, handed her water without commenting. James pulled Marcus aside during a break. She's great, man. You two have real chemistry. Marcus deflected too quickly. We're just friends. James gave him a look that said he wasn't buying it. You look at her the way I used to look at my wife. Before everything fell apart. Before she decided teaching science didn't pay enough for the life she wanted. Marcus changed the subject by grabbing another box. By late afternoon, the studio looked like home. Elena's family photos covered one wall in a careful arrangement. Her design equipment set up by the window where afternoon light would be best. The space smelled like cardboard, impossibility. Everyone left except Marcus. They stood on her small balcony, surveying downtown Portland spread below them, the city she'd chosen to return to despite everything it held. Thank you for everything, for making this possible. Elena's voice was soft. You made this possible. You're the one being brave enough to come back. Their hands were both on the railing, nearly touching. Marcus felt the space between them like static electricity. Elena seemed to feel it too because she shifted slightly, creating more distance. The moment passed unacknowledged. June brought a new rhythm. Elena integrated into their lives with the ease of someone who'd always been there. Monday evening texts with sunset photos from her balcony. Wednesday afternoons when Lily would FaceTime for homework help, and Elena would patiently explain concepts Marcus had already tried to teach. Friday nights when Elena would show up at his door with coffee just as he was starting to grade papers, somehow knowing his routine better than he did himself. Saturday mornings at the Corner Bean became sacred in a new way. Elena had her order memorized by the staff. Almond milk latte, everything bagel. They didn't ask anymore, just started making it when they saw her walk in. Katie texted him during one of those Fridays while Elena was working across his table. Is that Elena? You two are basically dating. His response was automatic. We're friends. Her reply was immediate. Whatever you say, boss. It was during one of those coffee shop afternoons, not the Corner Bean, but a new place Elena wanted to try, that everything clicked into focus for Marcus. Elena was laughing about a client meeting, some corporate executive who wanted a design that was somehow both minimalist and maximalist, professional but playful, cutting edge but timeless. She was demonstrating with wild hand gestures, her head thrown back, afternoon sunlight catching the gold in her blonde hair and making it glow. Marcus's heart flipped in his chest, unmistakable and undeniable. He was in love with her. Not falling anymore, but fully, completely in love. The realization terrified him. She'd been through catastrophic trauma. She needed stability, not a relationship that could complicate everything. 5 years wasn't much in the abstract, but felt significant when she was building a new life, and he had a 6-year-old daughter to consider. What if he was misreading the charged moments between them? What if asking for more destroyed what they had? You okay? You got quiet. Elena was watching him with concern. Yeah, just thinking about summer lesson plans. The lie tasted bitter. She didn't believe him, but didn't push. Mid-June brought an adjustment appointment for Elena's prosthetic. Marcus offered to drive without thinking about it, and she accepted. The clinic was clean and modern, all white walls and encouraging posters about adaptive sports. Elena introduced him to the staff who'd become familiar over 2 years of appointments. Then Dr. Ryan Chen appeared. He was handsome in that particular way of successful professionals, late 30s with distinguished touches of gray at his temples, expensive watch, confident stride, an orthopedic surgeon who clearly took care of himself. Elena, so good to see you for the follow-up. His warmth seemed professional, but Marcus noticed something else. The way Ryan's eyes lingered on Elena longer than strictly necessary. The way his smile was a fraction too bright. Your recovery has been remarkable. You're honestly one of my success stories. The determination you've shown, the way you've adapted, it's been incredible to watch. Marcus waited in the reception area, thumbing through outdated magazines without reading them. 45 minutes felt like hours. When Elena emerged, Ryan walked her out personally. Elena, I was wondering. Ryan's voice was casual, but Marcus heard the shift in tone. Would you like to get coffee sometime? Catch up properly, not just medical check-ins. I'd love to hear how you're really doing. Marcus's stomach dropped somewhere around his knees. Elena looked surprised, caught off guard. Oh, I don't know. That's no pressure at all. Just think about it. You have my number if you want to. Ryan smiled at her, squeezed her shoulder in a gesture that straddled the line between professional and personal, then headed back into the clinic. In the car, Elena was quiet. Marcus gripped the steering wheel harder than necessary. So, Dr. Chen seems nice. He was my surgeon, saved what he could of my leg. He's been checking on me post-op, making sure the prosthetic fits properly. This was just a routine appointment. He asked you out. Marcus tried to keep his voice neutral. Yeah, I don't know about that. It feels strange. He was my doctor. There's probably some ethical line there. You should do what feels right for you. Marcus forced the words out even as every cell in his body screamed to say something else. Anything else. Elena looked at him for a long moment, searching his face for something. He kept his expression carefully blank. Yeah, maybe. That week dragged. Thursday brought a casual mention from Elena that she'd gotten coffee with Ryan. Marcus felt physically sick, but manufactured enthusiasm. That's great. How was it? Nice. He's accomplished, obviously. Smart. We talked about medical advances, prosthetic technology. He understands that part of my life in a way most people don't. Do you like him? The question came out too fast. Elena hesitated, and that hesitation felt like a knife. I don't know. He's safe, I guess? Successful? Stable? He knows what I've been through medically. That night, Marcus called James. Elena's seeing someone, a doctor, the surgeon who did her amputation. And you're in love with her. James's voice was matter of fact. What? No, I'm not. Marcus, everyone can see it except apparently you two. Katie mentioned it last week. I've been waiting for you to figure it out. Marcus exhaled, admitting it out loud for the first time. It doesn't matter. She deserves someone who can offer real stability. I'm a teacher making $52,000 a year. Dr. Chen probably makes 10 times that. He can give her security, help with medical bills. Money isn't everything. But if you don't tell her how you feel, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. What if I ruin everything? What if she needs me as a friend and I make it awkward and she pulls away completely? What if she feels the same way and you never know because you were too scared to ask? Marcus had no answer for that. The jealousy was corrosive. Elena mentioned Ryan twice more over the next 2 weeks. Each time, Marcus forced himself to be the supportive friend, ask questions, listen to her talk about their coffee dates, died inside while maintaining a neutral expression. It was the right thing to do, the mature thing. It felt like swallowing glass. Lily noticed. "Daddy, why are you sad?" She asked this while they were making dinner, her small face concerned. "Just tired, sweetheart." "Is it because Miss Elena has a boyfriend?" Marcus nearly dropped the knife he was holding. "She told you that?" "She said she's having coffee with a doctor. That's boyfriend stuff. Maya's mom has coffee with a man and her dad says that's her boyfriend now, and they're getting divorced." Out of the mouths of children came truths adults spent years dancing around. "It's more complicated than that, Lily." But his daughter had already moved on to asking if they could have ice cream after dinner. Early August arrived with a phone call that changed everything. Tuesday evening, Marcus was grading student artwork while Lily colored at the table beside him. His phone rang, Vanessa's name appearing on the screen. He answered without concern. She called sometimes to coordinate visits. "Hey V, everything okay?" Her voice was bright, excited in a way he hadn't heard in years. "I got a job offer at the Portland Art Museum. Curatorial position with a clear path to senior curator within 2 years. It's exactly what I've been working toward, Marcus." Everything I wanted. Marcus's hand tightened on the phone. His stomach went cold. "You're moving back here?" "Planning to, yes. I've been thinking about it for a while, even before this job came up. I regret not being more present in Lily's life. Seeing her twice a month, those brief weekends, it's not enough. I want to be a real mother to her, not just a visitor." "That's great. That's really great. Lily will be so happy." Marcus meant this genuinely, even as dread pooled in his gut. "There's something else I wanted to talk about." Vanessa's voice changed, became softer, more tentative. "I've been doing a lot of therapy, Marcus. A lot of self-reflection. I've been thinking about us, about our marriage." He knew what was coming before she said it, felt it in the shift of her tone. "Hear me out. We were so young when we got married. 22, basically still kids ourselves. We let stress and our differences pull us apart. But maybe we gave up too quickly. Maybe with time, growth, maturity, we could try again. Not immediately, but eventually." Vanessa, think about it. A real family for Lily. Both her parents together, giving her the stability and love she deserves. The home she should have had all along. Marcus couldn't breathe. The room felt smaller. "I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything right now. I know it's a lot. Just think about it. For Lily's sake, if nothing else. She deserves to have both of us, together." After the call ended, Marcus sat frozen. His mind spun in circles, unable to land anywhere solid. Lily looked up from her coloring. "Was that Mommy?" "Yes, sweetheart. Is she coming to visit soon?" Marcus took a breath that felt like swallowing stones. "Actually, Mommy might be moving back to Portland for a new job." Lily's face exploded with joy, transforming completely. She dropped to her crayon. "Really? Mommy's coming back here? That's the best news ever. The best news in my whole life." She was bouncing in her seat, all 6-year-old exuberance and uncomplicated happiness. "Oh, Daddy, this is so great. I can see her all the time, every day maybe." Then her face shifted into hopeful calculation, the look of a child about to voice a dream she'd been holding close. "And maybe if Mommy's here, you and Mommy could be together again. Like a real family, like Harper's parents. We could all live together in the same house." Marcus's heart sank through the floor. "Sweetie, it's not that simple." "But it could be," Lily insisted with the absolute certainty of childhood. "If Mommy's here and you're here, you could fall back in love. That happens in movies all the time. And then we'd be a real family and I wouldn't have to go back and forth and we could have dinner together every night and I'd have a real family like everyone else." Marcus wanted to tell her that they were already a real family, that love took different shapes, that sometimes the healthiest thing parents could do was live separately. But looking at his daughter's shining face, at the hope she'd been harboring maybe since the divorce, the words stuck in his throat. Sometimes the people we love most want things we can't give them. Have you ever been in that impossible position, trapped between your truth and their hope? That night, sleep was impossible. Marcus lay in bed staring at ceiling shadows while rain drummed steadily outside. Vanessa moving back changed the entire equation. Lily's desperate hope for family reunion felt like a weight on his chest. Elena might be moving toward Ryan anyway, might be better off with someone who could provide what Marcus couldn't. Could he give Lily what she wanted most? An intact family? Did he still have feelings for Vanessa? He examined this honestly in the darkness. Fondness, yes. Respect for who she was, definitely. But love? The romantic partnership kind of love? No, that had faded years ago. But was that enough reason to try for Lily's sake? Could love be rebuilt from affection and shared history and commitment to a child? And what about Elena? He'd never told her how he felt. She was seeing Ryan, seemed happy about it. Maybe she needed someone like Ryan, someone established and capable of taking care of her in ways Marcus couldn't. The options spread before him like paths in a dark forest. Try with Vanessa for Lily, giving up on Elena before anything started. Follow his heart to Elena, risking Lily's disappointment. Stay alone, keeping both at a safe distance. None of them felt right. Saturday morning at the Corner Bean, Marcus was a ghost of himself. He barely touched his coffee, responded to Lily's stories with vague acknowledgments, stared out the window without seeing. "Hey," Elena's voice was gentle, concerned. "What's going on? You seem a million miles away." Marcus rubbed his face, trying to organize thoughts that wouldn't settle. Vanessa called. She got a job offer in Portland. She's moving back. Elena's expression shifted in a way Marcus couldn't quite read. Something flickered across her face, too quick to interpret. "Oh, that's good though, right? Lily will get to see her more." "Yeah, it'll be good for Lily. Is there something else?" Elena asked carefully, watching him with those brown eyes that always saw too much. Marcus hesitated. How could he explain that his ex-wife wanted to try again? That she'd suggested rekindling their marriage? That he was confused and scared and didn't know what the right answer was? That he was terrified Elena was slipping toward Ryan while he stood paralyzed? Just a lot of changes coming. A lot to figure out. Elena nodded, didn't push. The tension sat between them like a third presence, heavy and unacknowledged. After Marcus excused himself to call his sister back, Lily and Elena were alone at the table. Lily, Lily, with a 6-year-old's complete lack of filter, launched shade immediately into her news. "Guess what, Miss Elena? My mommy is moving back to Portland." "That's wonderful, Lily. You must be so excited." Elena managed to keep her voice steady. "And I told Daddy that maybe they could fall back in love and we could all be a family together." Lily was practically vibrating with enthusiasm, completely oblivious. "Isn't that the best idea ever? Then I'd have both my parents in the same house, like a real family, like how it's supposed to be." Elena felt something crack inside her chest, felt the air leave her lungs. The cafe noise receded to a dull roar. "That would be really wonderful for you, Lily." The words came out somehow, through the tightness in her throat. "I really hope it happens. I pray about it every night. I want my mommy and daddy together again, more than anything in the whole world." Lily's sincerity was absolute, shining with childish faith that good things happen if you wanted them badly enough. "I hope you get everything you want." Elena barely recognized her own voice. Marcus returned from his call a few minutes later. Elena made an excuse about a headache, left earlier than usual. Marcus looked concerned, asked if she needed a ride. She declined, said she'd be fine, would text later. She didn't look back as she left. That night in her studio apartment, Elena lay awake listening to rain assault her windows. The sound was relentless, matching the thoughts circling her mind. Of course Marcus would want his family back together. Of course he'd choose to give Lily what she desperately wanted. What could Elena possibly offer that would compare to an intact family? She was just some broken woman who'd stumbled into their lives at a cafe, needing help on her worst day. Marcus had never indicated he saw her as anything more than a friend. She'd been foolish to let herself fall in love with him, foolish to imagine those charged moments between them meant something beyond her own wishful thinking. The survivor's guilt that was her constant companion merged with self-sacrifice. Her family hadn't gotten a second chance, but Marcus's family could. She should be grateful for the time she'd had with them, these months of feeling less alone. She didn't deserve happiness when her parents and Kennedy were gone. The decision crystallized slowly. She would pull away, let them have their chance without her complicating things. It would hurt, but it was the right thing to do. The loving thing. Give them space to rebuild their family without feeling obligated to include her. The first excuse came Monday. Want to come over for movie night Friday? Marcus's text was routine, expected. Can't, sorry, swamped with a huge freelance deadline. Need to work late all week. Saturday morning brought another. Corner bean tomorrow morning? Not feeling great. Rain check? She let his call go to voicemail, couldn't trust her voice not to break. His text came that evening. Did I do something? Please talk to me. I miss you. Elena stared at the message for an hour before responding. I just think I've been imposing too much on your time with Lily. You two need your space, especially with everything changing. Marcus replied immediately. Imposing? Elena, you're not imposing, you're family. But she didn't respond to that. The second week was harder. Marcus tried again. Next Saturday at the Bean? Please, Lily keeps asking about you. I have to drive to Vancouver to help my aunt with something. Maybe the week after. She was running out of excuses and they both knew it. The third Saturday without Elena, Lily looked around the cafe with confused, wounded eyes. Where's Miss Elena? Why doesn't she come anymore? Her voice was small, bewildered. Did we do something to make her mad? Does she not like us anymore? No, sweetie. She's just busy with work. But she was never too busy before. Lily's voice broke a little. I miss her, Daddy. She's my friend, my best grown-up friend. I miss her too. Marcus admitted this quietly, the words feeling inadequate. That evening, after Lily was asleep, Marcus sat on his couch replaying everything. Elena's withdrawal had started right after he'd mentioned Vanessa moving back. Right after that conversation at the cafe when he'd been distracted and strange. Lily had been so excited about her parents potentially reuniting, had talked about it constantly that whole week, unless the realization hit him with the force of a physical blow. Lily must have told Elena, must have shared her hopes and dreams with her usual lack of filter. And Elena, who'd lost her entire family 2 years ago, probably thought she was standing in the way of Lily getting her family back. She was sacrificing her own happiness, pulling away because she believed it was what they needed. She thought Marcus wanted Vanessa back. She didn't know he was in love with her. Marcus grabbed his keys. 20 minutes later, he was knocking on Elena's door. She opened it wearing sweatpants and an old t-shirt, eyes red-rimmed. Surprise and something like panic flashed across her face. Marcus, what are you doing here? Is Lily okay? Lily's fine. She's with my neighbor, Mrs. Chen. We need to talk, please. Elena stepped aside after a moment's hesitation. Her studio looked the same but felt different, like she'd been slowly erasing herself from it. Fewer personal items visible, dishes in the sink, the space of someone not quite living. They sat on her couch and Marcus turned to face her directly. You're pulling away because of Vanessa, aren't you? Elena's eyes immediately filled with tears. She looked away. Lily told you, didn't she, about wanting Vanessa and me to get back together? Elena's hands twisted in her lap. She couldn't seem to speak. Marcus, listen to me, please. His voice was firm, cutting through her protest. I need you to understand something. Vanessa and I are not getting back together. We're not in love. We haven't been for years. Moving to the same city doesn't change that fundamental truth. But she wants to try again. She mentioned it as a possibility, and I haven't seriously considered it for even a second. Marcus leaned forward, making sure she was looking at him. Vanessa and I don't belong together. We never really did. We were young, in love with the idea of love, but we weren't compatible as life partners. That hasn't changed. Time and distance and maturity haven't changed the core incompatibility. But Lily is 6 years old. Marcus said this gently but firmly. She has fantasies about fairy tale endings where everyone lives happily ever after in the same house. But that's not reality, and that's not what's best for her. Vanessa and I can both be excellent parents to Lily without being married to each other. Lily will understand that as she gets older. I'm not finished. He reached for her hands. I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me. These past 5 months have been some of the happiest months of my life since my divorce. Not because of convenience or circumstance, because of you. Elena's breath caught in her throat. Because you make me laugh in ways I forgot I could. Because you see the world through this lens that fascinates me. That makes me want to see it that way too. Because you're kind and resilient and real and beautiful. inside and out. Because when I'm with you, everything feels right in a way it never, ever felt with Vanessa. Tears were streaming down Elena's face now, unchecked. You can't say things like that. Why not? It's the truth. It's been the truth for weeks, and I've been too scared to say it. Marcus took both her hands in his, holding them tightly. You're not standing in the way of anything, Elena. You're not an obstacle to my family. You are my family. You have been since that day you asked to share our table. You became family the moment Lily sang to you, the moment you trusted us with your grief. He took a shaky breath. Lily loves you. I love you. I'm in love with you. I have been for weeks, maybe months. And I hope you might feel the same way. Elena stared at him, tears streaming down her face, breath coming in shaky gasps. I do. I've been falling in love with you since you sang happy birthday to a stranger and made her feel seen. Since you let me sit at your table and didn't look at me like I was broken. She was sobbing now, but I couldn't let myself hope. I thought I was being selfish. I couldn't let myself believe that you might. Marcus pulled her into his arms, and she sobbed against his chest, months of suppressed feelings pouring out in a flood. He held her tightly, one hand cradling the back of her head, the other wrapped around her waist, keeping her grounded. You're allowed to hope. You're allowed to want things. You're allowed to be loved, Elena. You're allowed to be happy. Your family would want that for you. I love you, Marcus. I love you so much. And I love Lily. But I'm so scared. Of what? Of messing this up. Of you realizing I'm not enough, that I come with too much baggage. Of Lily resenting me for not being her mother. Of losing both of you if this doesn't work. Marcus kissed her then, soft and gentle, and full of months of unspoken longing, full of all the words he'd been too afraid to say. When they pulled apart, he rested his forehead against hers. You are enough. You are more than enough, and we'll figure everything out together. Vanessa moving back, the new co-parenting arrangement, all of it. But please don't pull away from us. Don't leave us. We need you. I need you. I won't leave. I'm sorry I tried to. I'm so sorry. You don't have to apologize. Not for trying to protect us, even if we didn't need protecting from you. They held each other for a long time while rain continued its steady percussion against the windows, washing away fear and doubt, leaving only truth between them. The truth that love sometimes came from the most unexpected places, that families could be chosen, that grief and joy could coexist in the same heart. Morning light filtered through Elena's apartment windows, painting everything gold. Marcus woke on her couch where they'd fallen asleep holding each other, neither willing to let go after finally saying what needed to be said. Elena was in the small kitchen making coffee, humming something soft under her breath. The first time he'd heard her hum since they met. She looked different in the morning light. Not lighter exactly, but less burdened, like she'd set down a weight she'd been carrying since March. They had breakfast at her tiny kitchen table. Toast with butter, scrambled eggs, coffee that was slightly too strong. It felt domestic in a way that made Marcus's chest tight with something he couldn't name. Hope, maybe. Or rightness. What do we tell Lily? Lena's voice was careful, testing the shape of this new reality. The truth, appropriately. That we care about each other, that we're together. She's 6, not stupid. She'll probably just want to know if you're still coming to Saturday coffee. Elena managed a small smile, but worry lingered in her eyes. What if she's upset? What if she sees me as trying to replace Vanessa? Kids can be territorial about their parents. Lily loves you. She's been rooting for us without even knowing it. Trust me. That afternoon, Marcus sat Lily down at their kitchen table. She had coloring pages spread out, was working on an elaborate princess scene with her usual intensity. Sweetie, I need to talk to you about Mommy moving back to Portland. Lily looked up, hope flaring instantly in her eyes. Toast crumbs still at the corner of her mouth from lunch. Mommy and Daddy both love you more than anything in the world. You know that, right? More than our jobs, more than anything. You're the most important thing to both of us. He took a breath. Mommy wants to move here so she can see you much more often. That's wonderful. You'll get to spend so much more time with her. Another breath, harder this time. But Mommy and Daddy are not getting back together. Lily's face fell. The crayon slipped from her fingers. He watched hope drain from her features like water through sand. But why? If she's here. Because sometimes people who care about each other realize they're better as friends than as married people. Mommy and I tried really hard when we were married, Lily. We tried so hard, but we just weren't happy together the way married people should be. We made each other sad more than we made each other happy. Lily's voice was small, wounded. But I want us all to be together. I want a real family like Harper has. I know, sweetheart, and I understand why you want that. But we are together, just in a different way. You have mommy who loves you and daddy who loves you. We're both here for you. That's what matters, not whether we live in the same house or are married to each other. Lily was quiet, processing with visible effort. Then suspicion crept into her features. Is it because of Miss Elena? Marcus kept his voice firm. No, mommy and I made our choice to divorce long before I ever met Miss Elena. That happened 3 years ago. But I do need to tell you something about Miss Elena. He chose his words with care. I love her, Lily. Not just as a friend, but the way grown-ups love each other when they want to be together. Like boyfriend and girlfriend. To his surprise, Lily's expression softened rather than hardening. Like boyfriend and girlfriend? Yes, exactly like that. Lily was quiet for a long moment. He could see her 6-year-old mind working through complicated adult emotions, trying to reconcile her hopes with this new reality. I like Miss Elena. She's really nice. And you smile a lot when she's around. You laugh more. You're happier. Marcus felt tears prick his eyes. I do smile more when she's around. Can she still come to Saturday coffee with us? Always, sweetheart, always. She's part of our family now. Lily nodded slowly, then she climbed into Marcus's lap and hugged him fiercely. I still wish you and mommy could be together. Her voice was muffled against his chest, honest in the way only children could be. But I guess if you're happy with Miss Elena, that's okay too. I want you to be happy, Daddy. Thank you for understanding, baby girl. 6 weeks later, Vanessa moved to Portland in a rented truck filled with her life from Seattle. She and Marcus met at a cafe neither of them had history with, neutral ground to discuss the practicalities of shared custody. She looked good, Marcus noticed. Lighter somehow, less stressed than the last years of their marriage. They worked out a schedule. Lily would stay with Vanessa every other weekend, 1 weeknight for dinner, holidays split fairly. They'd remain flexible, adjust as needed, both committed to making it work for Lily's sake. Marcus, I want to apologize. Vanessa's voice was quiet after they'd finished the logistics. I shouldn't have suggested getting back together. That wasn't fair to you, to Lily, to any of us. I was lonely in Seattle. I confused wanting to be a better mother with wanting to be your wife again. Those are two completely different things. Marcus appreciated the honesty. I'm glad you're here for Lily. That's what matters. We can be great co-parents without being married. Vanessa looked at him carefully. You're seeing someone, aren't you? You have that look, settled, content. Marcus nodded. Elena, the woman from the cafe I told you about. Vanessa smiled, genuine and reaching her eyes. Lily talks about her constantly. Miss Elena taught me this technique. Miss Elena said that thing. Miss Elena makes the best grilled cheese. I can tell Lily loves her, and I can see that she makes you happy in ways I never could. Marcus was surprised by her grace. Thank you, that means a lot. Vanessa's voice dropped, became vulnerable. Take care of them. They're both pretty special. And Marcus, I'm seeing someone too. I wanted to tell you before Lily mentions it. Her name's Adriana. She watched his face carefully, waiting for judgment that didn't come. That's great, V. Really. Who is she? Art restorer at the museum. We met my second week. We've been dating for about a month now. She paused, gathering courage. I've been scared to come out. Scared of what it means for Lily, for you, for my parents. But I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of being someone I'm not. Lily will love whoever you love, V, and so will I. You deserve happiness. You deserve to be yourself. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. You've always been better to me than I deserved. Kinder than I was to you. We were young. We tried. It didn't work. But we got Lily, and now we're both finding who we're supposed to be. That's not failure. That's life. The first time Vanessa came to pick up Lily from Marcus's apartment, Elena was there. They'd been making dinner together, Elena teaching Lily how to chop vegetables safely while Marcus handled the stove. Domestic and easy, and exactly what Marcus had never had with Vanessa. Lily ran to pack her overnight bag with the enthusiasm of a child who got two homes instead of losing one. That left Vanessa and Elena in the doorway, awkward and assessing. Vanessa was exactly as Elena had pictured. Tall, artistic energy radiating from her, paint under her fingernails, eyes that missed nothing. Elena felt suddenly self-conscious in her casual clothes, prosthetic visible below her cropped pants. "So, you're Elena." Vanessa's expression was hard to read. "I am. I want you to know I'm not trying to replace you. You're Lily's mother. I would never try to be that. I know," Vanessa interrupted. And to Elena's shock, she smiled. Genuine warmth, not polite distance. "Lily talks about you constantly. Non-stop. I can tell she loves you. And I can see you make Marcus happy in ways I never could." She glanced toward Marcus, who was in Lily's room helping her pack. "I thought I wanted to try again with him. But the truth is, I was lonely. I confused wanting to be a better mom with wanting to be his wife again. Those are two different things. And honestly," she looked back at Elena, "I'm actually glad he found you. Take care of them. They're both pretty special." Elena felt tears spring to her eyes. "Thank you. That means more than you know." Vanessa's voice softened. "Take good care of my girl. Not just Marcus. Lily, too. She's sensitive even when she doesn't show it. She notices everything." "I will. I absolutely will." A month after Vanessa's move, she called Marcus one evening. Her voice carried a nervousness he recognized from their early dating days. "I need to tell you something. I'm seeing someone. Adriana, I mentioned her before. That's great, V. I'm happy for you." There was a pause. "How did you know it was a woman? You said someone, not a guy. Plus you've had that rainbow pin on your bag for 6 months." "I notice things." Vanessa laughed, relief evident. "Her name's Adriana Lopez. She restores paintings at the museum, works with damaged art, and makes it whole again. We met my second week here. I've been scared to tell anyone. Scared of what it means for Lily, for my parents, for everyone." Her voice cracked slightly. "I've been hiding who I am for so long, Marcus. Pretending. Even with you, I think part of me was pretending. Not about loving you, but about being someone I'm not. Lily will love whoever you love, V. And so will I. You deserve happiness. You deserve to live as yourself, not who you think you should be." Vanessa was crying now. He could hear it. "Thank you. You've always been better to me than I deserved. We were young. We tried. It didn't work. But we got Lily, and now we're both finding who we're supposed to be." 2 months into their relationship, Elena ran into Ryan Chen at the prosthetic clinic for a routine adjustment. He looked the same, professional and polished, but his smile faltered it when he saw her. "Elena, I haven't heard from you in weeks. Are you okay?" I was getting concerned. "I'm good, Ryan. Actually, I'm really good." Ryan studied her face and something shifted in his expression. "You seem different, lighter, happier. Something changed. I'm seeing someone. It's serious, very serious." Ryan's face registered brief disappointment before he recovered with professional grace. "The teacher? Marcus?" Elena was surprised. "How did you know? The way you talked about him and his daughter during our coffee dates. I could tell there was something there, even if you couldn't see it yet, or wouldn't let yourself see it." He smiled, genuine this time. "I'm happy for you, Elena, truly. You deserve someone who sees all of you, not just your medical chart. Someone who was there before and after the surgery, who knows you as Elena, not as a patient. You're a good man, Ryan. You'll find the right person." "I will. And hey, I'm always here if you need anything medical, but as a friend, a colleague, not as whatever we might have been." Elena finished for him. They hugged briefly, a closing of a door that had never fully opened. Walking to her car afterward, Elena felt the finality of it settle without regret. One chapter ending, another fully underway. But everything wasn't smooth. 3 months into their relationship, Lily started acting out. Small things at first, not responding when Elena spoke to her, staying in her room during Elena's visits, short answers where there used to be animated conversation. Elena tried to be patient, gave Lily space, but the distance hurt. Marcus noticed but didn't know how to bridge it. Then one afternoon it exploded. "Can you hand me the blue crayon, Lily?" Elena asked gently during a drawing session at Marcus's kitchen table. Get it yourself. Lily's voice was sharp, cold in a way Elena had never heard from her. Lily, Marcus's voice was warning. She's not my mom. She can get her own crayon. You're not my mom, so stop trying to be. Lily was yelling now, face red, tears streaming. Elena felt like she'd been slapped. Her own eyes filled, but she kept her voice steady. I would never try to be your mom, Lily. Vanessa's your mom and always will be. You're just here because Daddy likes you. But you're gonna leave like everyone leaves. Everyone always leaves, Lily was sobbing now, the real issue finally surfacing. I love you, and I love your dad. I'm not going anywhere. Elena moved closer despite Lily's rigid body language. Can I just be Miss Elena who cares about you? Not your mom, just someone who loves you? Lily's face crumpled. I'm scared Daddy loves you more than me, that you'll take him away and I won't matter anymore. Elena pulled her close, feeling the small body shake with sobs. Your daddy's heart is big enough for both of us. Love doesn't divide, Lily, it multiplies. The more love there is, the more there is to go around. He doesn't love you less because he loves me. If anything, he loves you more because you gave him permission to be happy. Marcus stood in the doorway, having heard everything, his own eyes wet. 5 months in, Elena stayed overnight for the first time. Middle of the night, she woke screaming. The nightmare was vivid, visceral. The explosion, the flames, Kennedy calling her name from somewhere she couldn't reach. Concrete crushing her leg, the smell of goo and burning wood. Marcus woke instantly, turned on the light. Elena was hyperventilating, eyes wild, not quite present. You're safe, you're with me, you're in Portland. The date is January 15th. You're in my apartment. You're safe. His voice was steady, an anchor. He'd learned the grounding technique from Dr. Kim during one of the sessions Elena had invited him to attend. I saw them. Kennedy was calling for me. I couldn't reach her. I tried so hard, but I couldn't move, and she was screaming, and I couldn't. Elena was sobbing, whole body shaking. Marcus held her until the worst passed. Lily appeared in the doorway, small and frightened in her pajamas. Daddy? Is Miss Elena okay? Elena was mortified, tried to pull herself together. I'm so sorry, Lily. I had a bad dream. A really bad dream. I didn't mean to scare you. Lily patted over and crawled into bed with them without asking permission. I get bad dreams too sometimes. About when Mommy and Daddy used to fight before the divorce. Daddy always helps me feel better. She snuggled against Elena's side. We're keeping you safe, Miss Elena. The bad dreams can't get you when we're all together. Elena cried different tears then, wrapping an arm around Lily while Marcus held them both. Month 6 brought financial strain to the surface. Elena had been hiding it, but Marcus found a past-due medical bill when it fell from her bag. The amount made his stomach drop. $47,000 remaining after insurance. Elena, why didn't you tell me? His voice was careful, trying not to sound accusatory. Because I don't need rescuing. I can handle my own problems. I've been handling them for 2 years. Her voice was defensive, sharp. I'm not trying to rescue you. I'm trying to be your partner. Partners share burdens. That's what partnership means. You can't fix this, Marcus. You're a teacher making $52,000 a year. This isn't your problem to fix. The words came out harsher than she meant. I know I can't give you what someone like Ryan could. The financial security, the ability to take care of these bills without thinking twice. But I can help. We can figure it out together. Elena's face crumpled. Don't do that. I didn't choose Ryan. I chose you, not your bank account, not what you can give me materially. I chose you because of who you are, because you make me feel safe and loved and seen. Money has nothing to do with it. They fought properly for the first time, voices raised, frustrations aired. But they worked through it. Payment plans were negotiated. Elena took on extra freelance projects. Marcus helped where he could without making her feel like charity. They learned that partnership meant accepting help, not just giving it. 8 months in, Lily had a winter concert at school. All 4 adults attended, Vanessa and Adriana in one row, Marcus and Elena in another. The initial awkwardness was palpable. Then Adriana, warm and disarming, broke the ice. You must be Elena. Lily talks about you constantly. The cartoon drawing technique you taught her. She's been teaching it to me. I'm terrible at it, but she's very patient. Elena laughed, tension easing. She's a good teacher. Gets that from her dad. After the concert, all five of them went for hot chocolate. Lily beamed, sitting between her parents while Elena and Adriana talked about art restoration techniques. Vanessa watched Marcus and Elena with something that looked like peace. I have two families now. Lily announced this to the entire cafe with 6-year-old confidence. And I love them both. Marcus and Vanessa exchanged a glance across the table. They'd done okay, different than planned, messier than hoped, but ultimately okay. March arrived again. 1 year exactly since Elena had walked into the corner being desperate and alone. Marcus had been planning for weeks, coordinating with the cafe owner, making sure everything was perfect. Lily was beside him at their usual table, wearing her best dress, practically vibrating with excitement. Elena arrived with a nervous smile. Marcus had texted something vague about a special Saturday. The cafe had their usual table saved despite the crowd. Marcus took Elena's hand as they sat. Elena Torres, that day you asked to share our table, you changed our lives completely. You brought light and love and laughter back into our world. You showed me what real partnership looks like. You've been patient with Lily's adjustment, gracious with Vanessa, brave even in ways I can't even describe. His voice wavered with emotion. You've been everything I didn't know I needed. Marcus got down on one knee. Lily stood beside him holding a small velvet box. Will you marry us? Will you officially become part of our family? Elena was crying and laughing at the same time, her hands covering her mouth. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. Lily opened the box with theatrical flourish. A simple ring, elegant and understated, caught the morning light. The cafe erupted in applause. The same patrons who'd sung happy birthday a year ago now celebrating this new beginning. Martha, the owner, appeared with champagne for Marcus and Elena, hot chocolate for Lily. To the family that started at table 7, someone shouted, raising their cup. 6 months of wedding planning followed. Elena wanted intimate, just people who mattered. Marcus agreed completely. Lily was involved in every decision, choosing her flower girl dress, helping select flowers. Vanessa hosted a small bridal shower, Adriana helping coordinate. The four of them had developed an unlikely friendship, bound by their love for Lily and respect for each other. They decided on the corner bean for the ceremony. Martha was honored, closed the cafe for the morning. They transformed it with white flowers and string lights, simple and perfect. September arrived. 18 months after their first meeting, they gathered on a warm Saturday morning. 30 guests maximum. Marcus's parents flew in from Arizona. Elena's Aunt Rosa cried happy tears through the entire ceremony. Marcus's teacher friends sat with Lily's teacher, Mrs. Palmer. Vanessa and Adriana took the front row. Dr. Kim attended as an honored guest, having walked with Elena through the hardest parts of her grief. Lily was resplendent in her green dress, flowers woven into her hair. She announced to anyone within earshot that she'd known they were in love forever and ever, that she'd predicted this, that she was basically responsible. Marcus waited at the front in a simple gray suit, James beside him as best man. Breathe, man. She already said yes. The hard part's over. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe she chose me. She chose you a year ago. Today's just making it official. Elena's entrance was devastating in its simplicity. A white dress that fell just below her knees, blonde hair in loose waves, walking without crutches because the prosthetic was stable today. Aunt Rosa walked her down the short aisle between cafe tables. Elena's eyes never left Marcus. He was crying before she reached him. The officiant, a friend of Marcus's from college, kept it brief. Then came vows. Marcus spoke first, his voice thick. Elena, when you asked if you could share our table, you gave me more than company for coffee. You gave me hope. You taught me that families aren't just born, they're built, one kind moment at a time. You showed Lily what resilience looks like, showed me what love should feel like. I promise to always make room at our table for you, to celebrate every birthday like it's the most important day of the year, and to remind you every single day that you are exactly where you belong. Lena's hands trembled as she spoke. Marcus, I came to this cafe on the worst birthday of my life looking for ghosts. Instead, I found a future. You and Lily didn't just let me share your table. You made room in your hearts. You taught me that grief and joy can exist together, that broken doesn't mean worthless, and that family is what you make it. I promise to love you both with everything I have, to honor the family you've welcomed me into, and to never forget that the best things in life start with a simple question. Can I share this table? When they kissed, the gathering erupted. Lily jumped up and down. Someone started singing, "Happy Wedding Day to You," and everyone laughed through tears. The reception was small. Chocolate cake with vanilla buttercream frosting, exactly like her first birthday. Elena closed her eyes, making a wish. Gratitude, same as always. Their first dance happened in the narrow space between tables, Elena's head on Marcus's shoulder. "Thank you for saying yes," she whispered this against his neck. "Thank you for asking." Lily watched them, leaning against Vanessa. Adriana's arm was around Vanessa's shoulders. "Mommy, did you know that sometimes fairy tales are real? They just don't look like the ones in books." Vanessa kissed the top of her daughter's head. "You're absolutely right, sweetie. Sometimes they look exactly like this." 1 year later, Saturday morning at the Corner Bean. Elena was 28 now, Marcus 33, Lily 7, and thriving in second grade. Their usual table by the window. Elena's prosthetic was off, propped against the wall, comfortable enough with her vulnerability here to not care. Lily was drawing an elaborate fantasy scene while Marcus read the newspaper, one hand resting on Elena's knee in casual intimacy. Elena worked on her tablet, freelance business thriving enough that she'd paid off the medical debt completely. They lived in a small house in southeast Portland now. 2 bedrooms, one for them, one for Lily. The converted garage served as a shared art studio where Marcus painted watercolors while Elena designed. Lily split time beautifully between homes, calling it having 2 families instead of losing one. Vanessa and Adriana were engaged now, planning a wedding for next summer. Lily was ecstatic about being a flower girl again, had already picked out her dress. The 4 adults had dinner monthly, navigating co-parenting with grace and humor. Elena still saw Dr. Kim, though sessions were monthly now instead of weekly. The PTSD was managed, episodes rare. She'd started a support group for amputees at the hospital where she'd been treated, turning her trauma into service. The survivor's guilt had eased into something more like acceptance. Her family would want her to be happy. Marcus had been promoted to art department head, bringing their household income to $62,000. Not wealthy but stable. He was painting again seriously, had a small gallery show scheduled for next month. He'd rediscovered the parts of himself that had gone dormant during the divorce. Martha brought over a slice of cake unprompted. On the house. "Anniversary of you two meeting, you remembered?" Elena was touched. "How could I forget? Best love story that started at my tables. 3 years ago today." Marcus smiled. "Has it really been 3 years?" "Best 3 years of my life. Can I have a bite of anniversary cake?" Lily asked without looking up from her drawing. They all laughed, shared the cake with 3 forks. A moment of perfect contentment. Then a young woman on crutches entered the cafe. The Saturday crowd had filled every available seat. She looked around with an expression Elena recognized immediately. Desperation mixed with hope, mixed with the exhausting courage it took to ask for help. Their eyes met across the cafe. Elena saw herself 3 years ago in that lost expression. Elena stood, called out across the space, "Excuse me, would you like to share our table?" The woman's face transformed with relief. She navigated the maze of chairs and made her way over. Thank you so much. I really needed..." "I know," Elena gestured to the empty chair. "We've all needed a place to belong. Please sit." The woman settled carefully, introduced herself. "I'm Sarah." Lily looked up from her drawing immediately, bright and welcoming. "I'm Lily. Do you like hot chocolate? We always get hot chocolate on Saturdays. It's our tradition." Marcus and Elena exchanged a glance. This was how it started. A stranger asking a simple question. A family offering a simple yes. The recognition that sometimes salvation came from the most unexpected places. Their story had started with a birthday song and a slice of cake, with a young woman brave enough to ask for what she needed and a single father kind enough to say yes, with one simple truth that changed 3 lives forever. Sometimes all it takes is making room at your table for someone who needs a place to belong. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, they make room for you in their heart.